What is going on, boys, and welcome back to the channel.
As you guys can tell by the wheels on the ground, we got some truck mods to do.
What you're looking at here is my 2007 GMC Sierra Classic 1500 HD. I bought this truck over 2 years ago around the same time I bought my first house. I initially bought it to help with moving in, but as time has gone by, this thing has become one of the most essential vehicles in my fleet. In this video, you're gonna see me transform this truck from a boring, stock-looking GMC to a lifted, badass truck with some personality behind it, with only a Facebook Marketplace account, Amazon Prime, and a budget under $2,000.
So I've got a whole pile of parts that I have already got in ready to install on this thing. 90% of them are off Amazon.
First thing that we're gonna start with is I got a set of Bilstein Shocks for a 2 to 3 inch lift. And this one was actually convenient
because my rear shocks are already blown out on this truck and they need to be replaced. So I figured if I'm replacing the shocks, might as well do a lift. And then since we were doing that, I figured I'd get bigger rims and tires. And then since we were doing that, I figured we get headlights and taillights, and you know how it goes. But now we're here and I got everything in. So let's get this thing on the hoist and let's start diving into it.
Now let's see how these fit.
Those look pretty crazy. They don't poke too much, but they're definitely more aggressive than they were before. That looks so sick.
Next thing we gotta do is a good old simple front end check and oil change. I do this every single time I change the oil. Always gotta stay on top of the preventative maintenance for the daily. Don't make a mess, don't make a mess, don't make a mess.
In the meantime, while the oil's draining out, I always take a grease gun. I grease all my front end components like every single oil change. That's why I haven't had to put ball joints or tie rods or anything in this truck yet. Stay on top of your maintenance, fellas. Now that we got our oil change done,
Well, not done, but drained,
we can pull the front wheels off and start getting these shocks pulled out of this thing. These 265 tires already get close enough to the bumper when I'm turning, so let's see what these 20 by 10s do. They're gonna hit bad.
Without the torsion keys cranked.
Damn, that looks crazy though. Dude, this is like putting an STI wing on a WRX. Big old diesel truck tires on a gasser.
so this would be like if the keys were completely cranked.
And take a look at this on the inside. It is touching there.
And then at the front, if I turn this thing all the way, not even a quarter turn, and it is smoking the bumper. So even with the keys lifted, I think we're cutting the front bumper to make 33s fit on this thing. It looks sick though, I like it.
So before we started cutting and modifying things, I figured we'd get the easy stuff out of the way first. I started off by replacing all 4 shocks with our new Bilstein Shocks. I've heard such good things about these shocks both online and from friends who have installed them in their trucks. They tell me it feels like they're riding on a cloud with these things, so I figured it was worth it to spend the money on some good quality shocks.
This is how bad these were. And they don't look like they're leaking or nothing, but they are done. I am barely pushing on this thing. And guess what? 0 rebound. That is garbage. So as you guys can see, I taped off the front bumper because we're definitely gonna have to cut it. But I'm gonna get both front wheels bolted up just with like 4 lug nuts for now. We're gonna set this thing on the ground. We're gonna measure floor to fender ride height, see how tall the thing is sitting.
But before setting the ride height, I remembered that I had to refill the truck back up with oil, fire it up, recheck oil, and just finish the oil change. Then I got straight to measuring the clearance from the ground to the fender in the front and the back. And we had
37.5 from the ground to the fender on the right front. And then on the left side, we had 37 flat from the ground to the fender. So it's a little bit lower on the left side, but we could play with the new torsion keys and even that out. All right, now just to confirm to you guys that it is actually taller in the back, because my eyes were even playing tricks on me, I swear. This is measuring about 39 inches from the ground to the top of the fender. Then I measured the other side, and the other side was about 38.5. Not sure why the driver's side is sitting slightly lower than the passenger side, but we're gonna work with it and level it all out. So now that we have our measurements, measurements, we know that to match 39 inches, I'm gonna say is a good number to go all around. We're gonna have to go up in the front about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So let me break this down real quick.
Here's how a torsion key works. You have this torsion bar, which is right there. It runs from this torsion key, which has the adjustment bolt here, all the way to the front lower control arm. And as you can see, it is in an indexed slot. So the more that you turn this whole torsion bar to the right, you're gonna push that whole control arm down, which is gonna pull the entire suspension geometry down, which is in turn going to lift the truck. If you turn it in, you're gonna pull this control arm up, which is gonna lower the truck. So right now with these factory torsion keys, the way that they're sitting, we still have a solid 5 to 7 threads of adjustment before they're maxed out. It makes no difference if the bolt is maxed out and that key is turned all the way versus if you have a torsion key that's indexed a little bit higher. The torsion bar's twisting the exact same amount. It's just whether or not that 5 to 7 threads is gonna be enough.
So I am going to tighten that bolt all the way up until it stops on both sides, which is maxing out the keys. We're gonna lower it down and we're gonna measure where our height's at. So those are completely buried all the way up, as much as they'll go right now. What do we got there? 39 on the dot. What do we got in the back?
We're gonna read out the specs real quick. Stock keys maxed. We got the right front at 39 inches, the right rear is at 39 1/8, but barely. Depending how you set your eyes up, it was 39. The left front is 38.5, the left rear is 38.5.
This thing with the factory torsion keys maxed out is perfectly even front to rear. That's called a poor man's lift, boys. All right, she's on all 4 wheels. Everything's dialed in for ride height, and that looks freaking sick. So in the summer, I take this truck out a lot to go dirt biking and stuff like that out in, hopefully next summer in the sand dunes more and stuff like that, where we go kind of off-roading into the bush, unload the bikes, and then go riding. So these tires, for one, are gonna help with that. Much better traction and wider, more grip, hopefully. And the ride height's a little bit higher now. 2 of the most important mods that I wanted to do to this thing was lighting, headlights, taillights, and the high mount brake light, and all the lights on the interior, just all the lights in general. So I hopped on Amazon and we are going to get rid of
these ugly stock tail lights and the ugly high mount brake light that gives off no light whatsoever. Also, our license plate lights that are just regular halogen bulbs. That just doesn't do it for me. That rear end is just not very appealing.
Now, since we needed so many different bulbs for this truck because this truck is completely bone stock, I decided, just like all of the rest of our builds on this channel, to reach out to my friends over at Auxito, and they sent me over a full LED conversion kit for this truck. I will have every single one of these LED lights linked in the description, and you guys can use the discount code that'll pop on the screen right here. Save you guys some money at checkout. And another wicked thing that they have on their site is booster packs. I use their booster pack almost every single time I go to the track, and I keep it in my truck. I bet you it's in here. Let's take a look.
I usually keep it in the back seat. There it is. Right here. I have had this booster pack for over 1.5 years. I use this thing all the time. It's got a tire pump in it. It boosts your battery. It's got a light on it. You can charge your phone off of it. This thing is awesome. So I keep it in my truck for emergency situations all the time. But with that being said, what they are helping out with in today's video is our LED lights. So we got LED reverse lights. We got LED headlights, low beams and high beams. We got LED fog lights. We got LED signal lights, which actually have a resistor built into them,
which is unreal because then you're not gonna get that fast flash when you put your signal light on because they're LEDs. And you don't need to wire in a resistor and cut any factory wires. These things just pop right in. So like I said, I'll link all these lights in the description. You guys are gonna see all of them as we install them.
So starting off with the left rear, I'm pretty sure it's literally just 2 screws. These are the easiest mods that are gonna transform the look of this truck. Oh my, those came off easy. So these ones are 3157. So we're gonna throw this in the bottom socket, which is the reverse light, and they snap in like butter. And then that's the only bulb that you need on these aftermarket tails. So they should just twist lock into place. There's a problem. We got 4 bulb sockets and only 3 bulbs. Let's just plug these in and see what happens. We might be siliconing that off and sealing it. For $100 or $150, those look pretty sweet. Now,
We gotta turn them on and see if they actually work. That's just with the light on. Oh, those look good, boys. Let's go through all the functions here. This is just headlights on. Left signal, right signal, brakes, reverse. So the one thing I'm nervous about with these taillights is that when I hit the brakes, that the brakes are gonna cancel out the signal light. Hopefully it doesn't do that. Let me know if it does that.
Okay.
That's the brake light.
Yeah.
And that's the signal.
Yeah.
What happens now?
Signal light stays on, the brake lights come on.
Really?
Yeah.
On the right side too?
Yeah, it's good.
Fuck yeah. And then I put Auxito sponsored this video and gave me some LED reverse lights. Are they bright?
Oh, fuck yeah, those are awesome.
Sick.
The problem with this factory high mount is that it's halogen, and honestly at night it does not light up very much. Use the spatula. Whoa, damn, that was aggressive. There we go. Got a little connector here. Does it at least plug in? Plugs in. Peel this shit, plop her on there. Shouldn't be hard at all. There we go. Got a nice foam seal. Connector is zip tied, not gonna rattle around. Now we can plug this thing in, screw it down, and then we will check and see if it leaks on our first car wash. We are gonna watch this from the back. That way we can see tail lights and the high mount brake light.
All right, that's key on, just regular. There's the brakes. Here's the cargo light. I'm gonna turn off the shop lights. I was expecting them to be brighter than that. I was expecting those to be super bright, and they're like not, but they work, at least.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty disappointed with that. Like, don't get me wrong, it lights up the box, but like, it's not that bright.
What can you do, I guess? At the end of the day, it's an Amazon part. It was like 40 bucks, and it's a smoked out tail light. You can't really expect the lights to be that bright coming through, I guess. If I want to upgrade, I'll just sell that one and upgrade in the future. But for now, we're leaving it because honestly,
it kind of ties into the whole smoked out, blacked out truck look that we're going for here with the black wheels, smoked out high mount, smoked out tails.
And now that we got the rear end of the truck all tied together, I decided it was time to move on to the front end. I started off by turning my wheels back and forth to see where the tire was actually contacting the bumper. And honestly,
it's only really hitting on this bottom, like from this bottom body line down.
So initially, I thought I would be able to measure this and make it perfectly symmetrical on either side, but I decided to be a freehand artist and just send it using my talented artistic skills, and I'd say it worked out pretty well.
You take a look from here, you can see the angle on the bumper, and it looks like the tire's gonna hit, but as it comes out, it actually bumps further back, so it completely clears on this side. And now hopping on the other side, it's pretty similar. From 10 feet away or so, you would never know that the cuts are different. They look the exact same. Now you can already see just from me turning it that it does rub on the inside, but that's gonna be something that honestly I just have to deal with.
without like a 3-inch lift on this thing, it is what it is. Might just have to deal with that because if I cut that plastic out, it's just the rocker panel behind that. So it's gonna hit no matter what. So I'll just listen. You can hear the rubber start to rub the plastic fender liner. It goes, and then you know, okay, that's as far as I can turn.
So I got the box of headlights opened up. These are also good old Amazon specials. Chrome housings with the black bottoms, and they got the C lights on them. So hopefully these look good. I do have to tee into the DRL circuit for the C lights, which should be no problem. And then we get to install our Auxito LED headlights. I'm actually really excited for these because they're a super cool design. They got the fans like literally built into the bulb housing. So you just twist them in and they got a cooling fan on them so they stay nice and cool. And these things are baller, man. Like they literally come with gloves in the kit. I bet you these ones come with gloves too. Yeah, they do. I don't even know why you would need to wear gloves installing an LED, but maybe for heat or something like that if they get hot and you want to take them off. Let's grab these headlights, get them on the bench, and start assembling everything.
So I went ahead and got all of our Auxito bulbs installed into the headlight housings. Then I took the headlight housings right as they were out the box and installed them in the truck. Needless to say, these things are cheap for a reason.
We got one headlight almost fully installed, and if I'm being completely honest with you guys, these things are garbage. This is how they sit when they're fully mounted. the entire headlight sits loose. So it's either swap over the factory brackets onto these headlights, or these headlights are just garbage and they're just for show. You can't actually drive with that. Your headlight's literally gonna be bouncing all over the road when you're driving. So I'm gonna try and figure something out with these. And then the DRL circuit, we're just gonna wire into the DRL light, which is right here. You literally just need to tee the wires into this, but I'm gonna do it properly. I'm gonna snip these. I'm gonna put a 2-pin connector. I'm gonna wire them into the backside of the 2-pin connector so that I can simply unplug it, and then I can take each piece off individually.
And I did just that. I wired a connector in so I could remove the upper and lower headlight housings separately. I also did have to transfer over the factory headlight brackets to the Amazon headlights, and once I did that, they actually turned out pretty solid.
All right, it is a couple days later now, but the headlights are in, they're wired, and they look sick. All we did was headlights, taillights, some wheels, cranked the Torsion keys and shocks, and we completely changed the look of this truck.
Just look at that meaty stance. These tires look crazy, bro. As you can see, if I try to shake these headlights around, you can see they're nice and solid and don't move. And the lower ones, I did have to take a torch and heat up the outer bracket and bend it out a bit just to make them lock in nicer, because they were a little bit loose. All you got to do is take a torch, melt this a little bit, bend this outwards so that it gets more tension, and then it locks in better. Check this out. We're going to take the keys and we're going to press unlock, and look at how badass this looks. That looks so sick. At night, if I press the unlock button, the DRLs come on. So
when you're walking up to your truck at night and it's dark outside, you literally press the unlock button and then the orange lights flash and the DRL C light comes on, which looks so mean at night. I love it.
And during the daytime, when you're in anything else but park, this is what it looks like. So at night, this is what the truck looks like, which I don't mind the C light being on. I would prefer for the C light to be on with the headlights, but unfortunately factory DRL wiring does not allow that. So you got your side markers that are super bright, and you got the inner markers on as well. You got your LED headlights here, and then obviously Auxito hooked us up with the full meal deal here. We got fog lights too. That is so sick, dude. I was gonna paint the grille and stuff on this car, but I think the chrome and black with the wide wheels, like, even though it's a little rusty and doesn't look the best, this thing's a workhorse, and I think that looks awesome. Maybe I shut the lights off in here. It'll show. I gotta show you guys this. I'm not finishing this video until I show you guys how cool this looks in the dark. That looks so sick. How freaking cool does that look?
Now the next kit that Auxito hooked us up with for this video is all of the interior LED lights,
which is the dome lights and all of the peanut bulb lights. So let's get to work.
Oh no way, they're too big. They don't fit.
Look at this. This one's too big. It doesn't fit in the hole. Simple solution. I dremelled this thing out, and now the bulb fits in there. Same problem. Too big for the hole. Can't say that I've ever experienced that.
The doors open, you guys can see the LED door light, the dome lights, and then when we hop to the back, we got LED license plate lights and all the tail lights, and we even got the cargo lights on up top, and those are LEDs.
Now one thing that I did do off camera was align the headlights. There is a bunch of videos on the internet on how to align headlights. Essentially what I did was I parked the truck 25 feet away from the wall in my shop, shut the lights off in my shop, then I took a tape measure and I measured from the ground right to the center of the headlight, which on most aftermarket headlights, you're gonna have a little circle that shows you where the center of the headlight is. In this case, these ones didn't.
As you can see, there is 3 markers here that show the center of it, so you can measure the gaps between them, I think, but usually there is a dot there. These ones just don't. So I just measured right to the center, right where that LED is. That was about 42 inches on either side of the truck. Then what you do is you measure on the wall 42 inches up from the ground. I set the top of the tape at 42 inches, and then you dial the headlights up until you hit the tape on each side, and your headlights should be relatively aligned.
Now, as for other mods on this truck, there's nothing that I want to do.
But one thing we definitely still have to do is get a wheel alignment on this thing.
And And I'm definitely gonna get that done off camera at a local shop in the Edmonton area here. So it's gonna go for an alignment. And to finish off this video, we're gonna cut to a sick little transformation B-roll of this truck because it looks so much different. It's crazy what just headlights, taillights, a high mount brake light, an LED conversion, wheels, tires, shocks, and a torsion key lift can do.
And this is it, boys. That's the final product. This thing looks so sick.
That was actually quite a few things that we accomplished in this video. But let me know what you guys think in the comments of how this thing turned out as a little gas job tow rig. One day we are gonna get a Duramax, but that's when we're doing more towing and frankly, for when I can afford it. So that's gonna be it for this video, boys. Peace out. I will catch you guys in the next one. Go build something cool.
Well, boys, we bought a trailer.
If you guys watch the channel, you would know about the drift car build series on the 350Z. And to finish off a truck build video, I thought it was only fitting that we got a trailer to haul the 350Z and store all the car parts and everything like that. After going down to the States with Brandon and seeing his enclosed trailer and how much stuff he can store in it, I felt like it was only fitting and I just had to do it.
So this is her. It is a 2007 Cargo Mate 20x8 trailer, enclosed. And honestly, the truck with the lift isn't even that squatted in the back. It looks pretty good. It does have a big old scratch down the side of it, and it definitely has some rust starting on the fenders.
But I didn't want to buy a brand new trailer for my first one because, to be quite honest, I didn't know how much I'd use it. This was a huge impulse decision to even go buy this thing. I drove 3 hours each way to go pick it up, and luckily, my girlfriend Sierra was nice enough to come with me and keep me company. So this trailer is just a sneak peek at what's coming next summer with the drift car and all the stuff that I have planned for the channel.